Welcome back. This is going to be the remix of my most recent recording titled Cultural Appropriation, or in that respect, negative aspects or negative ways of cultural appropriation. I was brought to task by a few people due to it seemed like the previous recording that I made, I was targeting black women, and that's not what I was trying to do, but I can understand how somebody may have taken offense to it. Now, I'm not here to make anybody feel good necessarily or bad, but I did acknowledge that. So I call this one the remix because in this recording, I'm going to talk more about mostly white people in general with cultural appropriation of different cultures, the positives and the negatives. And what I mean by that is this. I think the easiest way to format this, shout out to Jeff Foxworthy, I'm going to name a celebrity so everybody can identify, name something that they do, and if it's a negative way of cultural appropriation, I'm going to say it's nigga shit. If it's positive, I'm going to say it's positive, and I'm going to say thank you because they're showing respect for the part of whatever culture they've appropriated, okay? So, with that said, let's start it off. Christina Aguilera, the singer. She has a set of pipes on her. She can sing. It is a soulful voice she has in her little body. Positive. Thank you for that. Another one. A group called Tuxedo. Please take a listen to this group. They consider themselves funk. They have somewhat of a late 70s, 80s, even early 90s feel to them. I've researched the group. The producer of the group is a guy named Jake One, and the lead singer is a guy named Mayer Hawthorne. Now, Mayer Hawthorne is actually a Jewish guy from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I believe it's close to Detroit. I'm not sure, but a lot of people don't know about Ann Arbor, so he may just say Detroit. But I researched him, and very much into funkadelic, Motown, the whole get down. And this guy could play a slew of instruments like Prince, and in that respect even has a intuitive and almost genius mind, to the point that he took initiative as far as not wanting to always get clearances for different funk musics he may have wanted to, or funk songs he may have wanted to sample or whatnot. So he learned to play the instruments and played renditions of a lot of songs himself. That way you cut back on having to pay a bunch of rights for songs that you're trying to use or even remix or whatever like that. So that's genius. So that's a positive. Thank you for that. And what I mean when it's positive cultural appropriation is when somebody has taken somebody's culture and if not made it better, they showed it respect. Okay? Like I said, the nepotism, that's something that white folks been doing, and even us black folks now still have a hard time doing it. And I'm not necessarily referring to just trying to put your family, immediate family, blood relatives on, but even just black folks getting together as a collective, even in small groups, to have a larger goal in mind, like a bigger picture than just, trying to get rich just for you and your family. It's like Damon Dash, the guy that used to own Rockefeller with Jay-Z. He's he said a profound thing. He's like, if I surround myself with well-to-do, wealthy guys, and especially if I make it my business to help them get big, make money, get rich, in the off chance that I ever fall off / go broke, I can take a little bit from each one of my family members / friends / loyalists, and I could be right back. That's genius. The Asians have this as well. A lot of people don't know Asians are the lowest number as far as population that goes out to vote. And you see Asians taking over as far as businesses, owning homes. They do the whole send money back home type stuff. And they don't concern themselves with who's in the White House. They're going to get the bread regardless. And just to keep in that little direction for right now, I was thinking the other day how much energy black folks in particular have given Donald Trump, saying that him being in office is the Antichrist and all this kind of stuff. I get all that. But let's think, especially talking about finances. Black folks have been buying Jordans since the 90s religiously. I must admit, I myself one time stood in that goofy ass line before the mall opened to buy a pair myself. One time is all it took for me to feel like it was madness. And it wasn't even this whole crazy stampede stuff, but just the fact that I literally went, I was in high school then. I literally went to go woke up early to go stand in line to go buy some shoes when I used to fake being sick sometimes not to go to school. Like that's sad, but that just shows you where people put their energy is what they really want to do, in other words. So, I even see recently, for some reason, there's been this big boom in Jordan tennis shoes, different retro ones or whatever, coming back out, different colors and stuff. And people get them, especially, rappers. And, this isn't hate. I'm just saying, it's just funny how people want to talk about finances. And to be honest with you, there's a certain media personality, is what I call him, named Tariq Nasheed, and I love the way he refers to these kind of things. He calls them nigga trinkets, rims, jewelry, clothes, shoes, the stuff that doesn't appreciate. Honestly, it depreciates in value over time. But anyway, back to the cultural appropriation that I was talking about. One of the main ones that's usually on Front Street, and I say this, and like I said, I get hints throughout the days or whatever of the next kind of recording or the topic of the next recording I want to do. Yesterday, actually, on Facebook, one of my Facebook friends posted a picture of a white girl with a beautiful micro braid job. I mean, it was impeccable. And speaking from experience, I even joked about it, but it was factual. Usually the African girls / women braid hair this perfect. No shot at, black girls from around the way at all. I've had beautiful cornrow jobs done in the hood. I'm not talking like that, but I'm saying these African women, you know, whatever, Nigerians, whatever, when they braid hair, it's like they grab every piece of hair, even baby hair, and braid it. Like you fixing to go through some pain. But this picture that was posted of this white girl, this micro braid job, was awesome. The job that she had, it was clean looking. It wasn't no flyaways, no hairs out of place. You know, it was obvious because it was a before picture that she had put some bundles in her hair, but it was a beautiful job. See, that's a positive way. You may call it a cultural appropriation, but it was done right. It's not the crazy stuff. Like there's another picture going around of the Grinch, you know, the Grinch from Dr. Seuss, his hand, and it says, "This is how dreads look on white people," you know. So with this white girl posted with the micro braid job, it was beautiful. See, that's positive cultural appropriation. I believe it's something that you've taken from another culture and you hadn't disrespected it, because you know when you do that, you're actually disrespecting the culture. It's not that you didn't know, or like, for example, I remember in high school, I took Spanish classes all 4 years in high school. And I didn't know I was in some kind of special program or something. And I was wondering why I was in these Spanish classes with the same white kids for 4 years. And tell me why over half of them, the Spanish they knew in 9th grade was the same Spanish they knew senior year. So they didn't even take it seriously. When they did speak it, it was horribly broken. You know, you heard people joke, talking about, yeah, I would like to get some beef fajitas, things like that. That's negative cultural appropriation, you know. And I'm a believer in people can see when you tried to appropriate their culture and you're not respecting it and you're negative about it. You know what I mean? Like, as far as, you know, business, back to business. It's almost sad when you really think about it, and you know, I could be wrong. Like I said, these are my opinions and observations, you know, but it almost seems like, as far as history goes, aside from Black Wall Street, y'all look that up. If y'all don't know about it, check your Googles. Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a bumping town in Tulsa called Black Wall Street because black folks had all kinds of bread. They had a movie theater in the town. Well-to-do black people all working together, and the place was bombed out by the KKK. Okay, for the simple reason it was black folks winning. Period. But since then, if you really look at it, and I believe that was 1910, I believe is when that happened. If you really look at it, aside from like, and you know, and in the music industry, it's no secret that a lot of these record labels were started with drug money. I mean, that, you know, it's no secret, you know. But I really think about how many black-owned businesses that you can name that are on the level of like these big conglomerate corporations worldwide, you know, like that usually Europeans and white people hold, that are worth billions. You know, there's been groups that have been successful, but I mean on the level where, you know, billionaires, you know, plural, not just one guy at the top collecting all the money. As far as black folks go, you know, give credit to Master P. You know, he stayed in business. He's trying to come back into relevancy now as far as music goes. He gets credited for his business acumen, but he's one guy. Do these people have teams? Of course, but he's the figurehead, I guess you could say, and you know, he's been hustling since he was selling them out the trunk of his car. You know, respectable. He's literally came up from the bottom. He's a multi-millionaire now. But if you really think about it, there's no group of a conglomerate actually of like black billionaires. Like it even trips me up when I'm watching different shows. Like I said, I don't watch TV that much. I stream a few shows. But when a actor, I decide to research one, and it's a few actors, and I'm actually talking about white actors who come from money. Like their families are well-to-do billionaires, millionaires, and it's even more impressive because they actually don't have to act. They're literally doing it, I want to believe, because they like it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to work, But that's what I say as far as back to my previous recording, talking about the DC sniper, black dude. It's like out of everything you can copy from white culture, you're going to copy trying to be some extremist on a perch with a sniper rifle shooting random people for whatever you believe in. You know what I mean? Riff Raff. I'm gonna try to not just berate the guy. I know he has a lot of support, especially here in Houston, but what he eats doesn't make me shit, and I'm really trying to be objective about it. Nigga shit. I've even had the mispleasure. I saw an interview with him and Ebro from Hot 97 in New York, and he came in, his persona. He says that's him with the neon colored cornrows and the gold in his mouth and the BT MTV tattoos. And Ebro is of black and Jewish descent. His mother's Jewish, his father's black. And Ebro was basically trying to figure out, Ebro has no qualms about what he is. He's not trying to be something he's not. He knows he's considered black, a Negro. He loves his mother. God rest her soul. She passed a few years ago. Loved his mother, but he knows what he's identified as, and he pushes his pride in that. Well, he was trying to figure out if Riff Raff was quote unquote real, or if that was a character that he was portraying. I'm sorry. So he's asking Riff Raff these different questions, and one of the responses from Riff Raff was, "Oh, this Breitling watch is real." And Ebro's like, "Remember what I said about nigga trinkets?" Ebro's like, "Well, what the fuck does that mean?" So I'm not even fixing to throw my voice and talk how Riff Raff talks. You can look him up and see how he talks when he's, I hate to say, in character. And the reason I say in character was because after that interview, Riff Raff was on another radio station doing an interview, and all of a sudden his Houston hip-hop southern slang just disappeared. Then he just sounded like Todd from down the street. It wasn't all this hold up man type stuff when he was doing this other interview. And I honestly must say that is one of the things that I respect about Paul Wall. I'm not being biased because Paul Wall's from Houston. Riff Raff supposedly from Houston. But Paul Wall, you can hear when he talks, when he's in a business setting, he does attempt to have a better diction, but you can still hear that hood in him, I guess you could say. I'm not saying, street cred. I don't know Paul Wall and nothing like that, but I'm just telling you that it's not the yo homie yo. And then when you get around the white crowd, it's, hey, hold on, bro, hold on. It's even keel is what I'm trying to say. So with Riff Raff, nigga shit. You have Eminem, another one who has appropriated black culture as in music. It's no secret. Hip hop is black. It was started by black and Hispanic people, period. But I believe, and I'm not no Eminem dick rider. I honestly haven't heard an Eminem album. I don't even want to say, but I've heard nothing of his new stuff. You know, I listen to a lot of different music, but it got kind of shaky after right around Encore. That's just me. But even still, I don't question his inept rapping ability. You know, he's crazy on the mic. And he's another one, like I said, who has, yes, appropriated black culture, but he paid it respect by doing it correctly, doing it right, even doing it better. Okay? You know, he has the Click, Slaughterhouse, a bunch of lyrical guys that, you know, are sick on the mic. They aren't with this mumble rap shit. It's, you know, bars. Okay? So, positive. Thank you for that. Yeah. And like I said, you know, I come off the top of the dome, but like I said, I'm doing this remix because I want everybody to feel equally offended. Okay, like I said in my previous recording, I was not intentionally trying to go solely at black women, but that's, you know, what I see, or that's what comes across my vision for me to acknowledge. Hell, I just watched an interview on Power 105 with a girl, and I don't even want to give her name shine, but she had a big old blonde fro, and I don't even have the time right now. It's going to be for another date to go into how crazy her interview sounded, especially the part about the Me Too movement. But like I said, that's another story. But who else? You get what I'm trying to say. You know, I can't just think off the top of my head now as far as, but you know, if you're from a certain culture, you know when somebody appropriates it, if they're paying respect. Now, go back to Dame Dash. Now that I think about it, he has published a book, or has had a book published, called Culture Vultures. And if I understand his standpoint on that, is people, and predominantly white people, who have come into the hip hop industry and, for lack of a better word, have used the niggas and their struggle to make millions and don't give back. Okay, what's the difference with that and Michael Jordan? You see, you can't be a fence sitter. You can't say, you know, that some white executive at Def Jam is a culture vulture because, you know, when he's not at Def Jam, he's at the Polo Club or he's at the country club and he don't give a fuck about niggas. But then you'll go stand in line to buy Jordans for, and I've heard some crazy stories about people meeting Michael Jordan. And it's no secret that it's not that he doesn't, but it's not publicized if he's philanthropic as far as black people are concerned. You know, a few years ago, he gave $1 million to some black organization, but then he gave money to some police union as well. It's like you're playing both sides, I guess you could say. But he doesn't get called on it. People still wear his Jordans, you know, and for some reason he's not considered a culture vulture, you know. Like I said, I know, you know, to cooking. I've had the pleasure, extreme fortune to meet not one but three, is it three white women from Louisiana who can demolish a kitchen. I mean, will your best soul food restaurant you like. I think they can give them comp with their eyes closed. And just to be clear, these ain't who I want to say. These ain't white women / white girls with the nigga shit. These are regular Becky's and Susie's, and it just so happens they from the South and they know how to cook. They're not talking with some fake ass ghetto slang with some cornrows and a bunch of ugly tattoos and dragging their feet around and you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about nigga shit. Okay? None of them are like that. And I was trying to hold off on it, but I can't. And I'll bring it to a close with this. And I actually mentioned it before in a previous recording when I was talking about interracial relationships. White girls / white women who hang around niggas, do a few drugs, suck a few soul poles, jump up and down on some soul poles, that feel that that's their pass to do shit like say nigga, or a pass to be on some nigga shit. One in particular, and I hate to give people shine, even just mentioning their names, but this chick Chanel West Coast, wow, like she doesn't have the look of some wannabe around the way hood girl looking shit. The little white girl, she cute. I'm not even, like I said, I'm being objective. She's cute. But there's videos of her out there where, for lack of a better word, she doesn't get her way like she thinks she should because she's somewhat of a celebrity. And she goes off on these tangents. Her voice gets deeper and this urban. You like, it's one famous one where she's outside this club in Hollywood and the bouncer's like, I'm not impressed, you ain't getting in. And she's in the middle of the street. She starts trying to clown the bouncer like, you ain't never gonna be nothing. You not letting me inside the club with me and like 8 hot girls. And she sounds and looks ridiculous. And there's more than one of these videos, But when I guess she's in the happy mood, all of a sudden it's Becky from next door with the quirky little laugh and all this, I remember even seeing a video, and like I said, it's a lot of people I'm gonna get backlash, but like I said, what people eat don't make me shit. It's literally a handful of people in this world that I give a damn about what they feel about me. Fergie, oh my Lord, I seen her on an interview. She changed up her whole goddamn voice. It's not enough, that you're a pretty white woman in a group with some black dudes, black eyed peas, and you can sing, you can harmonize a little bit. That's cool, be that. But then you come on an interview, because I've heard you talk quote unquote regular before, and then all of a sudden you get in a radio interview at a hip hop station, and it's yo homie yo, like nigga shit. I'm not impressed by it. Even before, when I was younger, before I even considered or knew about all this consciousness and Afrocentricness and all of that, that didn't resonate with me when white people, especially from suburbia, call themselves trying to relate to me by changing how they talk. That shit is so Oh man, it's condescending to say the least. But anyway, I hope that I've touched on a few things that I didn't in my previous recording talking about cultural appropriation. Like I said, I don't want anybody to feel left out, negative or positive, when it comes to cultural appropriation. Subscribe, leave subjects in the comments y'all want me to speak on. I hope I left a deep impression. Y'all have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night.